Here's some Tempera paint monotype technique. I've got this is the same thing you would use with the marker monotypes. It's a thin piece of cellophane. I've got some red and yellow paint here. I mixed it to make some orange. You want to put this on fairly thin. You don't want these thick areas of paint. You just want it pretty thin. You can blend colors, but don't get it too globby because it will smudge. I also have some blue in here. I want to keep all this pretty thin. And when you're done with your design, make sure your hands are clean before you touch your paper. Spritz a piece of paper towel and you can get the paint off. That's a quick way to get your paint off of your hands. So hold your cellophane where there is no paint. I've got it easy because I didn't put much on the bottom. Flip it over, and you're going to have a border around your print. That's always a nice thing. That way you can sign it. Place it down as much in the center as you can. It's going to stick to the paper, so you can turn it over, and then you want to rub it. It's easier to rub from the back, then the cellophane doesn't squish around. Turn it over back again, and then check on it. Could have gone a little heavier with the paint. It looks better here, but if you get too heavy, then it squishes. So, still kind of cool. And if you like that technique, give it a shot. If you would like to do some symmetrical balance with some basic printmaking, I've got two colors of paper here, and I'll show you how to do this. You first want to fold your paper in half. I've got 4 colors of liquid tempera paint that would be in the paint center. They're in little squeeze bottles. Just take a palette, no more than 1 in each corner. I've got 4 brushes, 1 for each color. And I'm going to start by maybe putting some shapes and lines, maybe filling in. If you go right to the fold, when you fold it in half, it will combine to make a bigger shape, like double the size. That's always kind of cool. So I'm going to go right up to the folded line with this. Put a decent amount of paint in there. It's going to soak up, so don't go too huge with your shapes. Immediately, once you're done with your shape, immediately fold your paper in half and rub. And that will transfer the wet paint over to the other side. And there's your beginning. Use black last. I do have black here. I'm going to use it last. Try some white. I'm also going to bring that right up to it, but not up there. I think I'll do that. And then maybe on the purple, I'll do a half circle here because remember it's going to combine. Put that brush into the yellow. I'll close this one first because I did it first. Rub it. Open it. Rub it. Open it. Notice the color, the yellow on the purple doesn't really show up that much because yellow and purple are opposite colors, so they did kind of combine to make brown. I'm going to try some white. and a little bit of black. So you can see where when you put it thick, it spreads a little bit. When you put it thin, it doesn't quite transfer. But if you like that style and you want to try out a design in it, go ahead. I'm going to show you how to do some basic stencil designs. First of all, you want to make it inside so you have plenty of space. You can make it symmetrical by folding it in half, folding your piece of paper in half, and drawing your design. Notice I've left space all the way around. I want to make sure that I'm doing it on the fold before I cut. I'm going to start this. I'm going to cut along the lines. I'm going to cut this out in one piece. I want the cutout and the cut around it in one piece. So you probably want to keep your designs pretty simple. So now I've got 2 tracer pieces. I'm also going to do it in these 2 sizes because I want my design pattern to have 3 different size hearts. So I cut out my 3 different sizes, and I've traced 2 of the sizes, the small one and the large one. Now I want to take, and I've colored some in, white sparkle, red sparkle, some oil pastels. Now I've got some tempera paint here, and I've got a stencil brush. I'm going to dip my stencil brush in water to get it wet, and I'm drying most of it off. I think I'll go in some yellow. So I'm going to take a little yellow. The paint's kind of dry, and I am brushing it up. I want a very little bit of paint on my stencil brush. You use it straight up and down. So I think I'll do the stencil, the medium stencil, over a couple of the other hearts. I'm going to start on the cardboard and pull into the space all the way around. And when I pull it off, it looks good. I'm going to take a little bit more. I just dipped it into the water. Now I got too much. Brushing it off. Maybe I want it down here a little bit over the large one. I got a little bit more on my brush, so now it's a little darker yellow. I'm going to add it over that. I think I'll add a little bit of orange. Put that here. Always working from the outside, from the cardboard into the middle. And it gives you the nice heart shapes. Once that's done, painted, then I can come back in and color it up some more, put line designs in it, do all kinds of stuff to it. If you would like to make an easy stamp that you could make multiples with, I have some plasticine clay. And the color doesn't really matter. Please keep the colors separate in a little ball if you use them once you're done. The one I have for this is in 2 pieces because I need to make a base for it. So I've got it rolled, and then I've got this rolled up long and skinny, and I'm going to take this part and just press it down so that I have something to hold on to and something to put my design. Now when you roll something really skinny, you don't have to roll it really wide because then it'll go crazy. So I'm just rolling it just a little bit, just kind of between here and here, like a ½ inch on my finger. And once you get it all rolled out, you can take and you can start putting it around however you want, molding it into an interesting shape. And then I'm going to tamp it down a little bit. And I'm going to keep that together. You can also roll a thicker one and now I'm going to pinch this because the underneath part will be what it'll look the same. And I've got something to hold on to. See that little handle there. Tap it a little bit. Then you're going to get a piece of paper, whatever color you want. I'll do a couple. I've got purple and green here, and I've basically just taken tempera paint and painted a very thin coating in a mixing tray. And wherever it prints, this part's a little low, I'm going to press it down so that it'll get there. Wherever it touches the print, it's going to print. Now you can make a little ghost print, or you have to stamp it in and do it again. So now you can make a pattern with your clay print. Here, we'll try it with the green. Press it down. I think my green paint is dry. So do it on test paper first. That way you know if your print is all level and if it's all going to print or not, and you want to kind of move it around. And then you can make patterns with them. You can do a small one and go all around with it. Now when you clean these off, you're going to get a wet paper towel, add a little soap, and then rub all the paint off that you can, and then put it back into a ball and put it back into the clay collection cup.